Can we develop universal compassion? How about universal hatred? Explain. Can we develop universal compassion? Is it possible? And how about can we have universal hatred? Compassion is natural. Hating is unnatural. But before we go on that level, let's go another level down. When we love, or when we like, or when we hate, or when we dislike an object or a person, kangsa in Tibetan means a sentient being, a being that has consciousness. When we hate a kangsa, or we hate a non-kangsa, kangsa mayimba, if we like or dislike a living being or a non-living being, that is not reality. Why is that not reality? When we like something, it is not based on a true, realistic view of the object that we like. If it is, and you can check it, based on a true, realistic summarization of the object we are attached to or we like, then our attachment or our like to the object or the person must be permanent. But if that person says something to us that we don't like, we end up not liking them. Yesterday we could have been the best of friends and we praise them from here to high heaven, but tomorrow we absolutely don't like them. Then at the same time, the object of our like can be disliked by other people, and the object of our dislike can be liked by other people. Therefore, the object itself doesn't have an inherent or intrinsic nature to be liked or not liked. It is our afflicted perception that sees an object and says we like or we don't like. And the truth behind that is because when we see an object and we like, we build onto it. When we see a beautiful girl, oh, since she's beautiful, she's going to stay beautiful. There's no way she's going to get fat and old and whatever, or sick, or lose her beauty. And when we see her talking nice, she's always going to talk nice. She's never going to say one foul word. And if she smells nice, and her breath is nice, she's always going to wake up with nice breath. She's always going to smell nice. And Lord knows, even in the bathroom when she's doing her thing, she doesn't smell. We have an afflicted perception. It is what we build on the object. And then if we feel she's beautiful, also she's going to have a beautiful family, a wonderful job, a great clean house. And everything about her is going to be fabulous because she is beautiful. So we are attracted to our afflictive perception of the object. So therefore, when we meet her and we meet reality, well, she can have her bad moods too and things can go wrong. Doesn't mean she's not beautiful. And then we go, eh? Why like that? How can you talk like that? How can you act like that? Why like that? Famous saying in Malaysia is, why like that? Why like that is because it is like that. You didn't know it's like that because you think it's like something else. So when we dislike something, when someone said something to us that we don't like, maybe a salesperson, we automatically don't like that person. Okay, I'm going to take an example of like someone that is in a ladrong. That when they do something to us, or they say something, maybe that day they had a bad day, maybe they had a problem. They have problems too, not just you. And they say something unpleasant and not nice to you. Automatically, your wrong, afflicted perception immediately builds up upon that. Since they're rude to me, they're ugly too. They have bad skin too. And they probably eat unhealthy foods. And they probably got diseases. And they probably don't have any friends, and they probably have rotten businesses, and they have ugly, mean parents, they have rotten, evil siblings, and even their dog is got rabies. And so we build up on the person that we don't like. And the minute we hear from other person, oh, you know what happened this morning? That guy's mother had a car accident, and she's ill, and she's in the hospital, and she's in serious condition. And it's not normal. And we go, oh. Our perception changes immediately. So because our perception of a person or an object can change so fast, it is proof to us that our perception is the enemy. We perceive it wrongly. Therefore, that wrong perception is called afflicted perception, because it has afflictions. There's wrong. There's something wrong with it. Therefore, when we operate on that basis of not knowing that truth, very simple yet profound, we go through life making enemy after enemy after enemy after enemy. And if you look around some people, when you get together for coffee and tea with them, all they ever do is tell you what everybody has done wrong to them. Everybody is an enemy. Everybody is at fault. Everyone is wrong. Why? Because they believe that their perception is correct. Is correct. So when you follow wrong perception, whether it's positive or negative, positive about a person, then if you're in a wonderful relationship, it's going to be not wonderful. Your husband turns out to be an absolute boring nightmare. Different than you, interested in karaokes and mahjong, and maybe driving around in a car, and he likes wet t-shirt contests, and you're like, oh. And your wife turns out to be an absolute nightmare. Turns out she's not even a woman, she's a man. And in our group, that's very possible these days. In our group these days. Okay, your wife is not even a wife, it's a man. All right, you accept, because if you tell your mother now how, your Jewish mother is not going to be very happy. All right, so your wife turns out to be got really smelly breath and armpit smells, and it turned out that day she really, took care of herself when you married her. And she's got a horrible, horrible mother-in-law, a typical Jewish Chinese mother-in-law that nags you to death. Why are you not a dentist? Why? Why are you not a doctor? Why? Why is my daughter still driving around in a BMW from last year? And it goes on and on and on. A typical Jewish mother. Jewish, Chinese and Jewish mothers are very similar. They nag you to death. Okay? And then you find out your girlfriend doesn't really have hair, it's a wig. Yeah, we're not talking about you, Jenny, relax. And it's like, oh my God, and then it's just the problems just go on, and then you find out that when stress comes, she can't take the stress, and she really freaks out. She wants her independence. She wants to do her work. She doesn't want to, do this. And then maybe when you get into bed and you want bubbly, she doesn't want bubbly. You find out she's not that hot after all. It wasn't like the first time because you both were in heat, and then all these things come out. So what happens is all of a sudden, one misunderstanding, another misunderstanding, you guys start to separate. And then when you separate, you go to court. And you say, they're wrong. They say, you're wrong. You're wrong. And it doesn't end. And then you get the next person. It's like that. It's the next person. And after a while, when you have a few people, you know why you settle down? You settle down not because you found the perfect person, because you yourself has settled for less. You yourself know there's no perfect person. And some of us who are smart just stick with the person we have. I mean, if it's not extreme. And we just deal with it. There's no perfect person. So suffering of that type arises from wrong, afflicted perception. Perceive or perception is to see, topa. Hear, see, feel, touch, taste, that's all perception. To perceive wrongly is afflicted. It's afflicted. Why? It brings about affliction. Affliction is a disease. It's something that makes you suffer, that makes you not well. So mental affliction arises from the same cause as the result. So mental affliction arises from mental distorted perception. Mental distorted perception. So when you operate on a basis of mental perception, you will have a lot of unhappiness. People, you don't need to see into their minds. You look at their body actions, how they talk, how they speak, what they focus on, what they dwell on, you understand their level of their mind. People say, oh my God, you have clairvoyance, you're so smart, whatever. It's not clairvoyance. I know the scriptures that much, at least that mind training part, to be able to understand, to look at a person and gauge what level of mind they're at, where they're at. If you listen to a person who talks me, myself, and I, we ain't talking about Beyonce here, okay? Me, myself, and I all the time. I'm not happy. I didn't get what I want. I was disturbed. People did this to me. I did this, and this is what they did. There's a lot of I's and me's and me's and I's. These type of person, it's a clear indication of strong, wrong, afflicted perception. And these people usually are very unhappy. Why? They're always unhappy. And His Holiness mentioned this. They're always unhappy. Always. Because they refuse to take responsibility and they continuously blame others. They blame others is because they have wrong afflicted perception. And why is that? They build on the wrong afflicted perception and not the truth. Not the truth. So therefore, if we do a simple meditation on that every day, and we think about that, when we reinforce it every day, you will see your wrong perception become less. You will. Enemies become friends. Friends become neutral. In fact, everyone becomes neutral. Why? After a while, you will even realize with respect to everyone, let's go one step further. Your like for your husband and your like for your wife and your friends and your parents and your loved ones and your lover and the people who've been kind to you, the people who've been nice to you, is totally dependent on many factors. How they treat you, your mood, your time of the month for some of us, and what's happening in your life. Because the most precious people in our lives, like our parents, can be our worst enemies. There are people who never speak to their parents. Never. They can be their worst enemies. There are people who can be the worst enemy with a person and the best friend the next day. Why? Something else arose. So, to hate or like someone is not reality. To hate and to have hate is not reality because it's based on afflicted emotion. And afflicted emotions do not focus on reality or how the object that we're perceiving is really existing. It is how we perceive them. Therefore, it is false and brings us unhappiness. Therefore, universal hate is impossible. Why is universal hatred impossible? Because it is based on wrong perception and wrong view. Therefore, not only the object, the viewer. 1. Number 2, when we are in love with people and we like people and we're attached to people, our girlfriend, our boyfriend, our friends, our dog, whatever. Once a dog dies and it becomes rotten and it starts to smell, we won't love it anymore. We're not going to go, boop, boop, hi, boopy, no more. It's like, oh, call somebody. Once we find out that, our girlfriend slipped and had a bad day and someone drugged her and she slept with somebody else, we're going to feel different about her. Very different. Once we find out that our husband is miserly and stingy and doesn't want to give one dime and we got to live on 10 ringgits a week to feed 25 kids, thank you very much, and yourself, you're not going to love your husband anymore. You're going to be running around the trees and singing in the rain with your sari on anymore. No more. And even our perception of unhappiness. Some of us are unhappiness because we don't have a lover or we don't have a friend or we don't have a partner. And that we can't be happy and we become depressed because of that. And we focus everything on that. Even people like that who get a partner will suffer even more than normal people because their perception of what they feel makes them happy is wrong. And that is universal truth, and that is wisdom that penetrates. Look at some of us. Some of us have horrible relationship situations that we want to get out of, or we would like to get out of. We don't know, we're scared, we got fears. Some of us want to get into a fearful relationship, but nobody wants to give us that fear, and we're suffering. It's all from wrong perception. So therefore, when we are attached to the people that we love, now let's go one step even further. Listen very carefully. I mean no disrespect to the Malaysian idea of family life. This is different. When we go one step further, actually, having special attachment and love to family members and brothers and mothers and sisters is not compassion. It is attachment. Why? If we have a special love for our husband or a special love for our wife and all that stuff, it is because of what the person does for us and how they make us feel, and it is dependent totally on what they do for us. So if they do for us, then we love them, and if they continue to do for us, we love them. If they don't continue or they stop, we don't love them anymore. Divorce time, separation, or just distance. Can be husband and wife living in the same house, they don't see each other, they don't do anything together. Can be. Why? That type of love is not love. It is not love. That is distorted attachment. Attachment means to be connected to something or to attach yourself to something without truth or without reasoning, without logic. So when we love our husband, when we love our kids, and that's all we focus on, yes, that is a start for developing true compassion. But we don't stop there. We don't run around saying, oh, I'm good to my kids, I'm good to my mother, I'm good to my father, I'm good to my husband, I'm good to my friends, I'm good to my neighbors. Yes, you are, and if they were kind to you and you're kind back to them, that's very good. That's a very good human quality to start with. But that's just a normal quality. Even animals have that quality. It's nothing special to develop and nothing to brag about. So when you hear TV that I'm a good person, I take care of my family, I take care of my wife, that's a lot of people ignorant speaking out there. Even animals, when you feed them and you're nice to them and you pet them and you speak nice words with them, they love you, they follow you, and they'll guard you loyally. They'll be with you, whatever. Even animals, they have the capacity to feel love, to feel attention. But their intelligence level is very low, so that's all they can perceive, that's all. So their love and their loyalty to you is unchanging because their perception is this much. You do good to them, they love you. You do it for a longer period, they're used to it, they love you, that's all. But humans, if we operate on that level, we just love, or we like our husbands, our wife, our children, our neighbors, or certain people that have been good to us, that provide pleasure. Why children? Well, because they're the pride of our lives. If they end up well, we have some substance to our life, and we have something to show for our life. That's what people say. That's not the truth, but that's what they say. Many times kids come out to be huge disappointments. Huge. And we love our mother because our mother took care of us, suckled us, took care of us, watched us, raised us, and was the first symbol of kindness when she offered us her beautiful milk. Was the first symbol of compassion. Symbol, Ka. His Holiness says Ka, means symbol. So therefore, only loving your mother and no one else is not compassion. It is not. It is afflicted emotion. Why? She did something for you. At the same time, having said that, according to Shanti Devas, Chunjuk or Bodhisattva Chaitravatara, you must start at that point where you focus on the kindness on an ordinary level of a being who's been kind to you and expand out. You don't just love your mother and your people who've been kind to you for the rest of your life and nobody else. No. Then you cannot develop universal compassion. Why? It's based on distorted views. Why is it distorted views? Why? It is distorted views because you are loving the person not on the basis of altruistic compassion in order that they don't suffer, that they have problems. You are, inverted commas, loving them because they have done something for you. So, yes, we start there, but we don't end there. Listen carefully. We start there, but we don't end there. Meaning we can't spend the rest of our lives until we hit the grave just loving our wives, just loving our husbands, just loving our kids and people who are close to us. I'll tell you why. Since that type of emotion is afflicted because they've done something for us and that's all, then your level is not that of an animal. Since your level is not that of an animal, you collect the same karma from afflicted karma. So in fact, for you, just loving your wife, just loving your husband and your friends and people good to you collects negative karma, and you reinforce the self-cherishing mind. And you reinforce this mind that can love passionately and hate passionately. And therefore, the actions that arise from that type of love and hate will create and cause you to take rebirth again and again and again and again in states of existence that you even have less opportunity to practice and to realize the truth behind what creates your unhappiness. Afflicted love, afflicted care, and afflicted hatred, and afflicted dislike all are the same two sides of a coin because it arises from wrong perception of the object. It is not the object arising as good or bad, friend or enemy, black or white, positive or negative. It is your wrong perception of that being. When you realize that, and a person that has realized that will not have any more enemies and will not have any more friends. They will go on the first step of developing compassion. they will enter bodhisattva level. Those beings neither love anyone more than other beings, but they may say to other beings, I love you very much and I care about you, as skillful means to transform that person's mind. Because that person needs to hear, oh, they love me, I'll do something. And at the same time, that being may even say to a person, I hate you, as a skillful means to wake that person up. But when you let go of like and dislike based on the meditation of destroying afflicted perception, you will enter the bodhisattva practice. You will not hate anyone. You will abide in reality. What is reality? Reality is compassion. Realism is compassion. Real nature that we all have is compassion. This compassion, this ability to love others, irrelevant of what they do to us, is your true nature. And hence, and hence, you have the seed of Buddhahood in you. When you do this meditation that His Holiness has spoken about, and you do it continuously, combined with Yidam practice, such as Lama Tsongkhapa's Miktsama, with visualization, and the practice of prostration, water offerings, mandala offerings, guru yoga, not only will you realize these teachings, it will become part of your being. To realize and for the teachings to become part of you, you need to collect merit and purify your negative karma. Therefore, for many students in the past, I've advised purification practices for them. Those who follow through will see a result. So, universal compassion is possible. Universal hatred is not possible. Universal hatred is not possible is because it is not reality, it is not truth. It is based on our own perception. Example, if we were to hate everybody on this planet, even the most hardened criminals love someone. It could be their wife, it could be a dog, it can be a wife, it could be a mother, it can be a sister. Even the most hardened criminals have somebody, dead or alive, that they love. That when you say something, they calm down. Universal hatred is not possible because even if everybody in this room was my enemy, if all of you got together, and I hate you, and all of you got together and decided to help me, and then you talked to me and you said something I liked and gave me some help or some whatever I needed, I can change my opinion overnight. So therefore, universal hatred is not based on reality, it's not true. So even while we're existing in some sort of hatred for a few people, it is not true hate and it is not reality. Why? The minute the causes or the conditions changes for that hatred, then our hatred changes. We've experienced that many times. So if we have a brother or a sister that we feel we don't love or we don't care about, if we have a mother or father, my parents abandoned me. I've never hated them due to Dharma teachings, but my parents abandoned me when I was very young. And I went through tremendous emotional turmoil and physical pain and problems due to their abandonment. But I've not experienced hating them. I've disliked them from periods and periods when I was a teenager. But these teachings helped me at a very young age, under 20, when I studied under the great master Geshe Tsurim Gyaltsen, to let go. Because I realized that they're not my enemy. That my perception, because when I found out more about what my mother went through, what happened to her when she was young, my stepmother, and everything, my reason to hate her disappeared, because I realized that she is a victim. And therefore she perpetuates this. And I felt sorry for her. And that's what it says in Shantideva's teachings. That's what His Holiness is referring to. You see, we don't just talk about compassion, 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 love, 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 love. Give reasoning. I'm giving you reasoning. Give the reasoning behind it. Then when you understand, you can let go. If you've hated someone for so long, a brother or a sister, a wife or a husband or a kid or a mother or whatever, if you hate it, let it go because it is your perception. And every single day that you hate a person, and let me add, and every day you love a person out of afflicted desire, you create the causes to take rebirth and samsara even more. Therefore, if you're attached to a person, to a thing, to an object, money, house, position, fame, reputation, and you hold on to it, it is your wrong, afflicted perception that that object, example, money, will give you happiness. In fact, money creates more problems. It makes you more wary. It doesn't let you open up to people. It makes you become stingy. It makes you protective. You spend time, you spend energy to make sure no one takes that money away from you. And in fact, every single day you have that money, you think you're secure, but actually your security goes away more and more and more. Why? Because that money eats away at you into an older, insecure, scared, fragile person. And those people that have money for a long time and plenty of it, they live in total fear. What happens if they don't have? So while they have the money, they can't even enjoy it. Although outwardly it looks like it, but that's not the truth. Similarly, you apply that to something that they love. Example, a house, a car. The minute you take that car and that house away, or they don't have it, or something happens to it, they suffer tremendously. They can go into depression, even suicide. Why is that? Because they thought that that brought them happiness, and it doesn't. It's afflicted perception. And that's what His Holiness is teaching us. So therefore, the secret behind all of this is to use what we have to what we need, and to use it also to collect merit for the future so we can have it again and again and again for many lifetimes. Because this life we use up a lot and we burn up our petrol supply of merit. And at the same time, to use it to share with others and to be a benefit to others with it. And simultaneously, in that way, when we have the object, we can enjoy it, collect merit from it, and it does not become a cause for us to take rebirth negatively again. Simultaneously, with the same perception, when you think about that, you're able to forgive, let go, and stop being confrontational with everyone. And you abide in an attitude of a forgiveness and in fact concern. So loving something intensely and hating something intensely collects very negative karma. Loving something intensely increases our attachment, afflicted attachment. Hating something increases the habituation of dwelling in non-realistic perceptions. Definitely. So therefore, it behooves us not to hate, not to confront, not to fight back, not to shout, not to yell, not to get revenge. It behooves us very, very much. It's very important because temporarily we create unhappiness for ourselves and others. Ultimately, we reinforce this mind to do it more and more and more until it becomes totally natural and habitual. And we just become a 100% nightmare on legs. Wherever we go, we create unhappiness to others. Whatever we do, we're unhappy. Even our physical body structure, our facial expression, our body language creates displeasure in other people's minds. Why? We have allowed our habituations to grow based on practice and engaging in wrong perception. Everybody's my enemy. Universal hatred, not possible. Universal hate, not possible. Hatred, permanent and existing, not possible. Compassion, possible. Universal compassion, definitely possible. Definitely. Because compassion is based on reality. And hatred is based on non-reality. Therefore, those who have listened to His Holinesses, and I say His Holiness, discourse on compassion, do not think it is some little New Age universal talk for a bunch of white people and black people and brown and yellow who fill up a stadium. It is much deeper than that. He bases it on pure 100% penetrative logic, understanding, and scriptural authority. So when you listen to it, I'm astounded. How he can bring it down to normal light for all of us. And very simplistic and yet approachable at the same time, based totally on the scriptures. Accurate, logical, with reasoning, and there's anyone can refute him in debate. Hatred, anger is not natural. It is not permanent. It is not your real state of mind. Compassion and forgiveness is. And once you develop it, it is permanent. Because if you have a metal and you want to sharpen it into a sword, you have to have the metal in order to sharpen it. If you don't have a metal, what will you be sharpening to make? What will you be making to make it sharp? So you have to have the metal to make the sword. Then you work on the metal. You can't work on a piece of wood or a piece of rock to make a sharp sword. Therefore, you have intrinsically in you the true nature of Buddhahood. Compassion. You have. Therefore, if you work on it through meditation on what His Holiness has explained and what I reiterated, you can develop that mental state. It is definitely possible. And it is your reality because compassion is reality. Why? What you're suffering arises from afflicted wrong view. Therefore, when it's removed, only right view can exist. And when right view exists, the result will be compassion and forgiveness. Therefore, it is true. And all of us have some sort of compassion. No one is 100% bad. No one. No one. Therefore, with these holy teachings, by Avalokiteshvara himself, the Dalai Lama, with these holy teachings, you can gain self-confidence. You can gain strength. You can gain courage. You can have whatever you have without it being a cause of you to suffer anymore. Wealth, love, family, friends, children, house, car, pet, country, position, money, none of it will bother you anymore. You can have it. Change your view. You can have it. Perceive it. Don't be attached to your children. Don't be attached to your husband. Don't be attached to your cousin. Don't be attached to your mother. Don't be attached to your lover, your wife, your house. Don't be. Have it. But with compassion. And then every day you live in it, you will not create the causes for you to suffer. The ones with the biggest position, the biggest name, the biggest wealth will suffer the most. Because everything there is to reinforce their fears and their non-perception of reality. The secret here is not to give up money and give up position, give up your wife, give up your husband, give up your children. The secret here is to do what you need for them, but to realize you're here for a short time. And if you keep existing on only making yourself happy based on those external objects, it will not make you happy because they are not the causes of happiness. And if you've experienced any type of inverted commas happiness from them, it is false. It is made up. It is you telling yourself you're happy. Actually, you're not. That's why we look at a lot of people and say, oh, they have a husband, they have a wife, they have this, they should be very happy. Why do you think those gossip magazines are so famous and so powerful and they make billions of dollars? Because they tell us the truth. They tell Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt are not happy. They are not. They're not happy. Trouble in Paradise, I read the other day. It's very important dharma for me to find out that they're not happy too, because I keep wanting to be them. Yeah. Why do you think stars divorce so much? Because they have everything to accelerate their unhappiness. They have too much money, too much praise, too much fame, too much beauty, too much everything. So that's why whatever happens to us happens to them more, faster, and quicker, because it accelerates their wrong view of what makes them happy. Think about it. So the secret, see you later, wifey. I've realized you make me unhappy and I've had wrong perception about you. See you later. But we've been married for 30 years. Kill the llama, kill the llama. Well, the llama's in Tahiti sipping off his virgin pina colada because someone's donated 55 million to him for his great Dharma talk. I wish! Not really. I know that's not going to make me happy. The secret here is not to hate your wife. I'm going to use that as an example. It's easier. The secret here is not to hate everybody around you. The secret here is not to love your wife and not to love everybody around you. The secret here is to accept people and the people around you and the people you see as they are. Not what you have mentally made them into a monster or an angel. All monsters are wrongly afflicted perception. All angels are. Even the most meanest person in the world does something kind for someone that they're attached to. So therefore, whether you're attached to someone you love totally, or you're attached to someone that you hate totally, either way, it brings you to the 3 lower realms. And you don't even have to go to the 3 lower realms. When you live that now, you're in the 3 lower realms. Why? You're always in a state of mental anguish. So therefore, those of us who have a relationship in this room, those of us who don't have a relationship in this room, trust me, it is exactly the same. Exactly. I don't care. I will debate with you. Those of you who are poor as a church mice and you see your funds dwindling like me, thank you very much. The sell off my car is getting so bad. One of them. Anyways, oh yeah, I forgot what I'm supposed to project. I'm rich or poor. Oh, I'm supposed to project I'm rich. I forgot I got bag LV, oh, Star Hill. I got mixed up because I forgot which crowd. Oh, jeez. Oh. It depends on what crowd I'm in. If I'm trying to get some money, donations, helping, I'm like, poor me. This boss of malam la. But you guys are, yeah, rich la, rich. Now, where was I? Which crowd? Okay, the rich crowd, got to put you down. I'm better. I'm someone. I do good practice, so I got the result, so I'm rich. Okay, now I got it right. I get myself focused here. D. Okay, D. Okay, I'm focused. Now, so some of you are as poor as church mice, and some of you as rich as Sambala. But you're suffering and you're experiencing the same thing. And most likely you go to the same place. Think about that. I'm not lying. I'm not making it up. I'm not being gracious. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to overgeneralize things. Think about it based on what I've just spoken about. And I dare say that I made a commentary on His Holiness's teachings. How dare I, but I have no choice. Oh yes. So therefore, universal compassion is definitely possible. Universal compassion is your true nature. Universal compassion is the direction you need to head towards. Universal hatred and disgust and hatred of people and things and blah, 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 blah is unnatural and not real. That's why when we engage in it, we never experience happiness. Never. Create the causes. So therefore, now we have to go to the next step. We cannot say anymore, you and I, they and me, them and us. That applies to the universal world situation, on a universal level, world situation. That applies between countries, it applies between cities, it applies between races, it applies between religions, it applies between families, it applies between us and our external relationship with everybody we come in contact with. It cannot be us and them anymore. Whenever you say us and them, you've already shown how totally ignorant you are. And you can run around fooling a few people who don't have wisdom, who don't have Dharma, and they'll believe you. But it doesn't get you anywhere if those kind of people believe you. Why? Blind lead the blind. So it can never, you can't, if you have heard this Dharma talk, you can use the pronouns I, you, he, she, it, they, us. You can use those pronouns. But you can't attach importance to them anymore. I'll tell you why. If you do, you know the method that creates unhappiness to you, and you choose to engage in it. So when things happen, don't complain. Don't bitch, don't complain. Don't take people out to coffee saying that you miss them and you want to see them, but actually you just want a pillow to punch, to take out your frustrations. No. No, definitely not.